the Civil War Guru Show. My name is Stevemnsn, and I am the Civil War Guru. And today we're in the Museum of the Western Theaters in historic Bardstown, Kentucky. And today we're going to feature a outlaw / partisan ranger grouping we have here. And the general's name was Major Sam Hildebrand. What you're looking at in front of you is a charcoal of Hildebrand holding a pistol and a sword, and then off to the lower right hand corner is a photograph, copy of a photograph of him with two pistols in his belt with a Union sack coat on. Now, this guy was born in 1836 in Missouri, and he was raised in Missouri. And in 1854 he got married and he had 6 children. When the war broke out, him and his brother got in a horse trade deal, and it went sour on him. And that night, the guys he traded with come back and hung his brother. And that started the carnage. He went back and killed all of those guys. There was 3 of them. Then a month later, a group of guys come in and burned his mother's house, killed his brother, and on and on. This went back and forth for 5 years or 4 years during the Civil War. This guy was ruthless. He took no prisoners. He had a rifle. It was called Kill Devil. Had 80 notches on it. And they assumed that he killed 80 people. This guy was notorious. Now in '62, as the war started off, Jeff Thompson, who was a Confederate colonel, he always proclaimed he was a general, promoted Mr. Hildebrand to the rank of major, and he wanted him to do scouting because he knew the territory, so he gave him a title of major. And for 2 years he carried out, scouting for Jeff Thompson, and also wreaking havoc on the locals in southeastern Missouri. Then in '64, when General Sterling Price was invading Missouri, he also put him in as a scout, and because he knew the territory. So anyway, between all the years of the Civil War, back and forth, where his family got killed, he'd retaliate, on and on and on. And at the end of the war, he surrendered down in Arkansas, and then he also carried out the war. For him, the war was never over. And he was notorious for robbing people, and he was just kind of the bad guy Jesse James. And in 1872, he had went down to Texas, and his wife died down there. So in '72, he went up to Illinois to a little obscure little city called Pinckeyville, and he was going to settle there with his children. And about 2 days while he was living there, he was renting a farm and getting set up. Some guys recognized him and murdered him. So he died, the way that he lived. And he had the same aura and the same, mystique about him as the Jesse James. Now what we have is, not only do we have his charcoal rendering here and a photograph of him, and we have a Pettingill Revolver that has belonged to him, and it has his name inscribed down the backstrap. And it's a rare revolver, and Brendan Cole will get a picture of it here in just a second. But they made them in 3 calibers, and this is the largest one. These things weighed almost 4 pounds, 44 caliber. And the government, U.S. government, accepted around 3,200, 3,400 of them. And I'm pretty sure it's 3,400. And then they issued them to the 3rd Missouri, the 5th Missouri, and troops right in the 3-state area of Missouri, Illinois, and Kentucky. And I assumed that he had captured this from one of those gentlemen and made it his own. But these are real obscure revolvers, and they weren't very trustworthy. They would multiple fire. But this is a unique revolver, and we'll get up and where you can take a look at, because Pettingills are hard to find, and they're hammerless. As you see him holding his Pettingill in his hand there in the charcoal rendering. So this thing's really pretty unique, and it's part of the Missouri history. And you wonder all the carnage that was reaped in Missouri, and it was truly brother against brother, and clan against clan, and family against family. So good or bad, this guy, he did what he thought was right to revenge his family's death, and he died a similar death. And this is on display at the Battles of the Western Theater in historic Nelson County, one of the finest museums in the United States, which features all Western theater. And if you haven't seen it, you can go online at civil-war-museum.org and check it out. So from the Civil War Guru, have a great day.